My name is. I rent a studio apartment in a 5-story building. Today, I went to work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. There were problems with the light in the entrance again. The light bulb on the 4th floor was off, but on the 3rd it was blinking. King. 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 In the light of day, this is normal, but can you imagine what will happen late at night? So I turned it over in my head when I was coming home. As I approached the entrance, I saw that the door was slowly closing. That means someone has entered. I followed him in and heard shuffling footsteps on the landing. Someone was sluggishly going up to his house. I went upstairs slowly, fearing that a maniac was walking in front of me, who would reach the 4th floor and, hiding, wait for me in the dark. When I reached the 3rd floor, where the light was flashing, I felt a slight surge of adrenaline in my blood, because it seemed to me that someone had just been there. But when the lights went out and abruptly turned on, this someone seemed to disappear. Alert, she slowed down. I could still hear the footsteps of the one ahead of me. When I found myself on the landing between the 3rd and 4th floors, I saw a silhouette. Oh my God! How scared I felt at that moment. My heart squeezed and my breath caught. This man was standing against the wall with his back to me, in the middle of the 4th floor landing. I'm scared. I stand there, afraid to move, trying not to make a sound. This stranger froze like a statue. Unable to stand the weight, I plucked up the courage and squeezed out, "I'm sorry." It sounded so strangled, as if I had squeaked like a mouse. Goosebumps crept over my body, and my legs began to cramp. There was deathly silence all around. This suspicious man was still standing motionless, as if he was deaf, didn't hear me, or just pretended not to hear me. I didn't dare walk past him. What if it's a trap? What if he's waiting to attack? Or he scares me? Thoughts flashed through my head, but I nevertheless stepped onto the first step, breaking the silence in the entrance. Suddenly, this stranger turned to face me. What should I do? Escape? I thought. The man's face was not visible. It was just a black silhouette in front of me. Then my phone rang, and this stranger, as if on cue, ran at me. I rushed downstairs, simultaneously throwing my bag at the feet of the pursuer. Running up to the 3rd floor, I heard a crash. Apparently, this maniac tripped over my purse and fell. Running out of the entrance, she rushed out into the street. Fortunately, a car was passing by. She threw herself on the road, almost under the wheels. "Are you all right, girl? What are you doing?" the disgruntled driver shouted. I outlined the situation to him, after which he called the police. My phone is still in my purse. I didn't have to wait long. The patrol car was 5 minutes away from us. When the Interior Ministry officers arrived, I went up to the apartment with them. My bag was lying on the stairs, where I threw it. The phone and money were there. After making sure that I was okay, the police left. So I stayed at home alone, with a little anxiety in my soul. An hour later, the doorbell rang. The fear returned again, and with it, Goosebumps ran all over my body. I went into the hallway to see who was there. She quietly opened the second door and peered through the peephole. There was no one outside. Suddenly, the light on the landing went out. It sent a slight shudder through my body. A few seconds later, the doorbell rang. I could just make out a silhouette. There was someone standing on the landing. Goosebumps ran over my skin again, and my heart squeezed with fright, fearing that a burglar might get into my house. I ran into the room to get the phone to call the police. She had just moved away from the door when they started pounding on her with all their might. My emotional state simply cannot be described in words. With trembling hands, she tried to dial the police number. I could barely stand on my feet because my knees were shaking. This horror lasted about 5 minutes. Someone was ringing and knocking. And every time I shuddered, I was afraid that this man would break into my house. It all ended with a knock and a loud voice saying, "It's the police." And I had concerns. How? After all, an unknown person just broke in here. Maybe they caught him. Have you been detained? I thought. Looking through the peephole, I saw the Interior Ministry staff. I told them everything, wrote a statement, and that was it. And that was the end of hell. However, something else scares me. I'm afraid it's tomorrow because I have to go to work on the night shift. What if this stranger is waiting for me? And my phone, an hour after the police left, someone started calling. The number was not determined. I'm scared. It's probably him calling, the man on the landing.